yeah, yeah. Ay, ba't ko naman apa naman siya sa masyalungan ko alo, aka pa chocolate. I don't know. Anyways, it's really nice here behind the scenes. Um yeah, we were having like a private conversation behind the scenes, and it happened that the conversation was funny. That's why I'm laughing. But welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Sunday Show. It's a common of what just come chocolate. Okay, so I'll tell you. Right. Fine. I'll tell you. Um I just recently started church. After a long time, I haven't attended church. So today was my first time going to church, and that's, well, is it okay to say that's why the show is late today, or is it gonna sound like an excuse? I don't know. But yeah. So I've started church, and I'm gonna be attending church every Sunday before the show. So you know how church is. There's that mingling, and getting to know people, and it's nice. So we might. I'm not confirming right now, but I'm just saying, so we might shift the show to 12 o'clock if you are in US Pacific time, and then we might shift it to, what is it, 9 o'clock? 9 o'clock if you are in South Africa. um and if you have a different time zone, then you can calculate and you can check like the time zone for South Africa and Prescott, then you can align that with your time zone. But it might happen that we shift time, but I wouldn't wanna um you know change everything just because of my personal changes, because I know most of the time we have guests in the show, and we have like you guys at home who are watching the show every week. So it's something that I need to propose. I'll propose to my team and see how it works. But yeah, welcome if you're watching on YouTube. Welcome if you're watching on Facebook. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. I see Batabi at good evening. Hi, it's good morning. It's good afternoon for us. But I know you in South Africa. Yeah. Look, let me know how your week was. It's the first month of the year. I think I got it in correct. No, I got it right last week. I said it's the first week of the first month for the first year. I don't know. I don't want to bite my tongue. It's fine. Welcome to the show. Without wasting any time, I'm going to introduce Mr. Laden, and we'll welcome him to the show. Today we're gonna have the news, and we're gonna have Learn isiZulu with Lungani. I know, fantastic. I think I did a fantastic job last week, because today when I went to church, I actually met somebody who greeted me in Zulu, and he definitely said "Sawubona," and then I said "Sawubona unjani," and it's like, and then he didn't know how to respond. I was like, and he blamed it on me. He was like, "Yeah, if you teach us more, I will be able to respond." I was like, "Yeah." But I think that was fantastic. Mr. Laden, welcome to the Global Sunday Show.
Hello.
Well, you look
I mean, Salbona.
you look handsome. I like your colors. I mean, it matches with the red at the back, and I like the red shirt, and I like you guys call it ten.
Turtleneck?
No, the color of your coat. We call it a blazer.
Yeah, it's like sort of a crew,
Ah,
little off-white, like ivory maybe or something, not
right.
quite white.
It looks 10 on the camera. It's called
Ah,
10,
yeah,
something like that. But
and that's right.
so
No, we
welcome
had,
to the
you
show.
missed the big debate this morning when you were at church, and you've been saved, right? I've been waiting so long for you to be saved. You are the devil incarnate. I hope that you're saved. Anyway, while you were out being saved, we were deciding that if I should have the collars out like 1970 or in and uptight, like right now everything's so uptight, everybody's afraid of everything, and we decided that 1970 was okay,
Yeah.
because first of all, there are very few people alive that even know about 1970, so it might not seem old fashioned, it might seem like a new style. So you're ending up with this outfit today.
Is that the times of the dinosaurs, or is it after? I'm joking.
Um, I don't know what kind of church it is, but I hope they're not teaching you at that church to read minds. Because if you read my mind right now, you would not like what you'd found out.
Oh my
But
God.
no, it was not the time of the dinosaurs. It was
Okay.
the time of the hippies and the beginning of disco.
Oh well, it's
So
okay.
if
So,
I do this, you see
Mhm.
little John Travolta in there.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I know that each and every time there's a design, there's always like a background behind it, like a story behind it, and a meaning and etc. Um, I know there is a reason behind the tie being like narrow like that and being like a spear at the bottom, but I don't know what it is.
Well, the tie originally
Ooh, okay.
just after the dinosaurs,
Ah,
back at the beginning of the creation of the different European monarchs,
uh-huh.
they didn't have heating. And they had these huge castles. If you've ever been to one of them, the ceilings are like 24 feet tall, huge rooms, lots and lots of windows, freezing cold. And so they put tapestries on the walls to make it because they didn't have foam insulation or anything then.
Hmm.
And what they did was they tied their shirt collars shut so that it kept the body heat in. So the
Oh.
necktie came from because the peasants lived in teeny little huts with a fire and they didn't need to do that. But when you lived in a big castle with lots of windows and big tall ceilings, even if there's a fire in the room, it can still be pretty cold. And so the upper classes had to keep their necks closed so the body heat would stay in so they wouldn't get so cold. So that's where the necktie came from.
Oh wow. But
And
I,
then the buttons
mhm,
on here, that came from Napoleon's army because they had their top coats.
mhm.
Um, and the it, they it was again very cold, it was based on the weather. And so the soldiers would wipe their noses on their sleeves. And so Napoleon had them put big brass buttons so that they'd hurt themselves if they did that, so they would behave better. So everything in fashion has an origin of something like that. And now the reason in the 70s this happened is because in the 50s, after the Second World War, there was this really big economic boom in the victorious Allied countries.
Mhm.
And everybody was being corporate and everybody was being, like, it was so rigid and everything. And so in the 60s, with the sexual revolution and all of that, by the 70s, they took off the ties and they showed how open their shirt collars were, saying, screw you, convention and tradition. We're not going to close our necks. And then if you look at the designs of the shirts, the shirt collars got huge. I mean, like,
Yeah.
for a while, it was like a clown, um, because it was just saying, haha, I'm not going to be uptight. I am not
Oh.
going to be rigid and controlled and contained. I'm going to show my colors out loud, which brings me back to mingling after church.
Oh my gosh.
But if you're mingling and if you're getting to know somebody,
Oh my gosh. I hope
then
people I hope people from church are not watching.
no, 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 no. This is for the people at church. They have to understand
Hmm.
that part of your mission in your life is this show. And so you're mingling, but you have to go to do your show because that's who you are.
Right.
So that if, for instance, somebody falls madly in love with you, even maybe for a day or two, and they the spark happens when you're mingling and they want to go do something and then you can't, that's going to be a surprise. It's going to feel like a rejection. So the
Well,
more you can let people know who you really are and what you really do, you're going to avoid those potential problems.
oh no, I mean it was the first time, and I'm pretty much sure. I'm pretty much sure. The next time is not gonna be like today, because when you new a church, I mean, any place, any area, any events, when you new, people want to know who you are and where you come from, and they introduce themselves, which is like a kind gesture. So that's what was happening today. But next week, and they get to know what I do, and they will know about the show, and they will know that eventually after the church, I have to run immediately to the show, and they will accept that and allow that and respect that. It's just that today, it was fun to meet all these people, and knowing how long they've been in church and how they like the church, and it was awesome. And knowing that there are some other dancers or performers that are around here. I mean, it was good. When you go to places like church, you never actually know. It is always surprising, but one thing that I love about it is always like a good surprise. Somehow, like church is like a place that is somehow protected in my experience, not my opinion, like, but my experience. It's like a protected place that if you choose to go there, there's always something nice that will happen. There will always be a surprise that is nice that will happen. So, yeah, that was my surprise. And I met this lady who's been dancing for like 30 years, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. And then we started talking and talking. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go. And I'm counting, I'm like counting minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And 10 minutes, 5